This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from October 25th to October 27th of 2024. Hello. If you are new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV and welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series where every single Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend. Now this intro is going to be short because I ran out of dad jokes. I have nothing else to say. So I'm going to take this opportunity to promote a future episode that we're going to release later this week. We're going to do an episode this week called, not really called, but the topic is US Men's National Team MLS prospects that need to move to Europe right now. Need to find a European club as soon as possible. Okay, so that'll be out later this week. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Now, make sure to drop a like in this video. It helps me a lot. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. Because keep in mind, I could have been a lawyer, an astronaut. I could have been an engineer. I could have been a lawyer. But I chose to be here on YouTube making US Men's National Team videos. Yes, that was totally my choice. I could have been on the moon right now. So thank you very much for hitting the like button. All right, let's roll the intro and start the episode. As always, we start with the top 5 leagues in Europe, the first one being the English Premier League. So let's go to England, and why don't we start with Matt Turner and Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. And this weekend, Matt Turner was on the bench the full 90 minutes for Crystal Palace once again, and Chris Richards is still recovering from injury and should be back in no later than 20 to 30 days from now. Let me talk about the US Men's National Team goalkeeper situation abroad, because it's pretty freaking bad. Honestly, my knees suck. They're terrible. But the situation of the US Men's National Team goalkeepers abroad is worse. Matt Turner, our starter, technically still our best goalkeeper, is a backup at Crystal Palace. Ethan Horvath, which might be number 2 or number 3 or maybe number 4, who knows, Patrick Schulte is probably number 2 right now. He is the backup of Cardiff City, a club from Wales, the country, that plays in the 2nd Division of England, one of the worst teams in the EFL Championship. And Gabriel Sonina, one of our alleged top prospects, just got benched at Barnsley in the 3rd Division of England. We used to have proper goalkeepers. What happened? Next up, we have Anthony Robinson from Fulham. And on Saturday, A-Rob started for Fulham and played the full 90 minutes for them during their 1-1 draw with Everton. Last but not least in England, we have Tyler Adams from Bournemouth. And on Saturday, Tyler Adams started off the bench and was subbed in the 81st minute for Bournemouth during their 1-1 draw with Aston Villa. I know he only played 9 minutes plus 6 minutes of added time for a total of 15 minutes, but I'd rather it be that way. Take it slow, baby steps, and stay healthy. But now that he actually got minutes, Tyler Adams is fully fit, fully healthy. Obviously, he can't play the full 90 minutes, but I expect these minutes to trend up the next 2 weeks. With that said, I'm expecting Tyler Adams to make it to the US Men's National Team roster this November. Which, by the way, spoiler alert, that's another video we're going to release later this week, probably on Thursday. The US Men's National Team November roster prediction video. Next up on the list, we have the Americans that play in Italy in the Serie A. The first two being Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa from Milan. And on Saturday, Christian Pulisic got no goal contributions. 0, nothing, nada. And the reason for that is the fact that Milan didn't play. If they played, he would have gotten a goal or an assist, for sure. Milan's match was postponed, and the rumors were that Bologna was shitting their diapers when they heard that Christian Pulisic was coming to town. Okay, that's a lie. The main reason is because of heavy rain and flooding, and that's why the match was postponed. So next up, we have Weston Mckennie and Tim Weah from Juventus. And on Sunday, Mckennie and Weah both started for Juve during their incredible 4-4 draw with Inter Milan. No, seriously, this might have been the game of the season in the Serie A. But how did the Americans do? Weston Mckennie played 83 minutes and his performance was solid, just solid, if you don't take into account the fact that he got 2 decisive assists. With the 2 assists, it becomes a great performance. Essentially, he was solid, but not heavily involved in the game. He did manage to get a brilliant assist for Juve in their first goal. It was a wonderful layoff in the air to pretty much give Vlahovic the goal. Now the second assist, it was just a quick sideways pass in transition that led to Yildiz dribbling 40 yards with the ball and scoring on his own. So the first assist was brilliant. The second one was more of an assist, but it still was an assist. it still counts. As for Weah, he played 62 minutes as a left winger for Juventus, almost like an inside forward at times, which even led to Weah scoring a tap-in for Juventus in the first half. And I must say, he did also almost score actually, not really score, but almost score a banger at the end of the first half. It was a beautiful shot from long range. And then in the second half, Weah wasn't really good. That's why he was subbed in early. He had like 15 minutes in the second half and wasn't really playing well, but he had a strong, solid first half. Now, with that said, this was a massive Serie A game in the race for the Scudetto, for the Serie A title, right, between Juventus and Inter Milan. The game was 4-4, and we had 3 American goal contributions, which is simply incredible. Another sign of the growth of our player pool, how much more talented our players are these days. Trust me, this would not have happened like 15 years ago. Actually, not even 10 years ago. Last but not least, in Italy, we have Gianluca Busio from Venezia. And on Sunday, Busio started and played 89 minutes for Venezia during their 2-2 draw with Monza. Now, before we continue, you must hit the like button right now if you made it this far. And a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Sorare. The link to play Sorare will be in the description of this video. We will be back in 60 to 90 seconds. Do you collect sports cards? Do you play fantasy sports? Yes, no, maybe. If you said yes to any of that, I got something for you. And if you said no, you might still want to stick around. Tactical Manager TV is partnering up with Sorare with a special offer. The link will be in the description. In Sorare, you can collect your own virtual cards of your favorite players. And then you may be asking, why would I want to collect virtual cards? Well, you can line them up on 5-a-side games every single week. And if your players perform in real life, you can win actual money, signed jerseys, game tickets, or even more cards to improve your own club. And you can also get unique experiences like a friend of the channel, Fiago, that got to meet Zinedine Zidane. You know what's also cool? They also have the NBA and Major League Baseball. I'm mainly gonna just stick to soccer, but you do you. What I really like about Sorare, before we even partnered with them, is that they're unlike other fantasy games where you have to pay per play. In Sorare, you pay to get the players you want permanently as cards. And then you can play multiple times using those same cards, at least until the player retires, win rewards if your players perform in real life. You can also buy undervalued player cards for cheap, then hold, use them in the future when they improve or develop, and then you can even sell that card when its value goes up for better ones. Or just keep the money yourself. If you sign up with the link in the description of this video, you will get $50 in credit to buy your first cards. Again, the link will be in the description. Use that link to make sure you get the special offer. Play with responsibility. All right, enjoy. Now we have the Americans that play in the Bundesliga in Germany. And before we even start covering them, I want to give a quick shout out to Nathaniel Brown, the 21-year-old left back that is German-American. He made his season debut, or actually his Bundesliga debut, I believe, for Eintracht Frankfurt this weekend as a late sub. He's a left back that we should keep track of. He's German-American. He can play for Germany. He can play for the US. I don't think he's going to make the German national team, so maybe he's a backup option for A-Rob. But that's enough of Nathaniel Brown. Now let's talk about Gio Reyna and Cole Campbell from Borussia Dortmund. So Gio Reyna, as you all may know, is still injured. He's expected to be back late November, maybe. Who knows at this point? But on Saturday, Cole Campbell made the bench once again for Borussia Dortmund, but this time he was subbed in the 88th minute for Dortmund during their 2-1 loss to Augsburg. The 18-year-old winger has now joined Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna as another American to debut for Dortmund in the Bundesliga as a teenager. How good is Cole Campbell actually? Time will tell. I don't really know right now. These were the first pro minutes he's ever played, and it was only 2 minutes. He's mainly making the bench right now due to the injuries of Duranville, Adeyemi, and Gio Reyna. But who knows? Maybe those minutes can go up a bit over the next few months. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. He is definitely a player to keep an eye on. And I can assure you, Mauricio Pochettino is keeping track of Cole Campbell right now. With that said, let's go to the next player that plays in Germany, the next American that plays in Germany, and his name is Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And on Friday, Joe Scally started as a left back and played the full 90 minutes for Gladbach during their 1-1 draw with Mainz in the Bundesliga. Next up would have been Kevin Paredes from Wolfsburg, but he is still injured, and there are strong rumors that Kevin Paredes fan on X might delete his Twitter account because Kevin Paredes just doesn't play anymore. The guy just doesn't play anymore. He's kind of becoming like an Instagram model at this point, just doesn't play any games. So we're going to skip on Kevin Paredes and talk about Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim. And on Sunday, Maloney started and played the full 90 minutes for Heidenheim during their 0-0 draw with Hoffenheim. Heidenheim, Hoffenheim, it almost sounds the same. Next up, we have the Americans that play in La Liga. And the first one I want to talk about real quick is Diego Cochen from Barcelona. He actually made the bench for Barcelona in El Clásico, and Barcelona just destroyed Real Madrid. They ran over Real Madrid. Big shout out to Lamine Yamal and Rafinha. They are two incredible players. And Diego Cochen was on the bench. So, technically, Diego Cochen got his first El Clásico win, the 18-year-old American goalkeeper. But let's skip on Diego Cochen and talk about Luca de la Torre from Celta Vigo. Luca de la Torre is still dealing with an ankle injury, so he's not playing for them. He hasn't made the bench once this season for Celta Vigo. And there are some rumors that he could be going to MLS in January to play for San Diego, the San Diego franchise that's opening next season. But who knows? What is pretty clear at this point is that Luca de la Torre probably won't play for Celta Vigo ever again. So now let's talk about Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. And on Sunday, Johnny started and played the full 90 minutes for Real Betis during their 1-0 win over Atletico Madrid. This was Atletico Madrid's first loss in La Liga this season, and Johnny was fantastic, huge, tremendous. He was the man of the match, in my opinion, and in the opinion of most people with two eyes and one brain that watched this game. Defensively, he was tremendous, and on the ball, he was quite good. He was press resistant, and he completed the most successful dribbles, and he put 2 through balls that should have been an assist. One of the opportunities was wasted by his teammate on a 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and the other, it was an actual assist, but Vitor Roque was slightly offside, unfortunately. Johnny was the best performer and the man of the match in my opinion, and now we need Johnny to put these performances for the US men's national team, because most of us here are not Real Betis fans. We want him to play this way for the national team. Next on the list, we have the players that play in France. The first one being Florentin Balogun that plays for Monaco. And it was originally reported that Balogun would be out for 2 months, which meant he would be back close to Christmas or maybe just in January of 2025. But Balogun was doing the warm-up in training with Monaco, and his coach said that he's recovering fast and that he might be back earlier than expected. We still don't have a set return date, but the good news here is that he'll be back earlier, which means he'll probably be back this year. However, I still find it unlikely that he will make it to the US men's national team November camp. It's not impossible, it's just unlikely. I mean, the roster's supposed to be out next week, so there's that. After Balogun, we would have talked about Caleb Wiley, but Caleb Wiley, the left back, the young American left back, is still dealing with a knee tendonitis, so he's still injured, he's not playing. So we're going to skip Caleb Wiley and move on to Marc Mckennie from Toulouse. And on Sunday, Mckennie started and played the full 90 minutes for Toulouse during their 3-0 win over Montpellier. Hey, he's a defender and he got a clean sheet. I'll take it. He also had a 100% passing accuracy for a total of 44 passes, which is quite remarkable. And I've been saying this for quite some time while watching Marc Mckennie. He has shown multiple signs of being a ball-playing defender. He can pass into midfield. He can dribble into space. He is an accurate passer. Those are things that Mauricio Pochettino very much approves, which means Mckennie will probably get plenty of opportunities with Mauricio Pochettino. Next up, we have Tanner Tessman from Lyon, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about his weekend performance, but during the midweek in the Europa League, he was incredible for Lyon, and that's worth giving a shout out to. But on Sunday, Tanner Tessman started once again, and he played the full 90 minutes for Lyon during their 2-2 draw with Auxerre. And no, that's not a deodorant brand, it's an actual French team. And Tanner Tessman, he did fine. He played it safe most of the game, and he played as an 8, as a central midfielder, and Matic was mainly the 6, playing super deep. To my surprise though, Tanner Tessman was their set-piece taker. He was taking corners, free kicks, and honestly, he had some good deliveries. Tanner Tessman is trying to beat the center back allegations. He's trying to take down Tactical Manager because I said Tanner Tessman should probably play as a center back, and I still would like to see him play as a center back. I will die on this hill. I'm very stubborn. I am as stubborn as a basset hound, so I will die on this hill. I still think Tanner Tessman should be tested as a center back. a very technical center back. Time to go to the Netherlands and talk about the Americans that play in the Eredivisie. The first ones being the PSV boys, Ricardo Pepi, Malik Tillman, Richie Ledesma, and then Dest, that is still injured with a torn ACL. And on Saturday, Pepi and Tillman both started and played the full 90 minutes for PSV during their 6-0 win over Zwolle. Ricardo Pepi scored a hat-trick, sorta, kinda, not really. I'll explain that in a second. And Malik Tillman scored a goal. Pepi's first goal was a beautiful volley around minute 9. It was a very tough finish, a wonderful finish. For Ricardo Pepi's second goal, he received the ball at the edge of the box and scored with a clinical right-footed finish, perfectly placed. Those were two very tough goals to score. Now look, Pepi didn't really have a hat trick, but he kind of did at the same time. Pepi headed a ball, after he already had 2 goals, he headed a ball that hit the post. Once it hit the post, and it ended up hitting the back of the goalkeeper and going in, which means they gave the goalkeeper an own goal. But if there's one thing that I'm good at, is pushing a narrative. I'm almost as good as the paid MLS show journalist, but I mean, you know, they're professionals and they get paid to do it. I don't get paid to do it. I just do it for the love of the game. And I'm about to push a narrative right here. Ricardo Pepi scored a hat trick. Yes, that's what I'm going with. He scored a hat trick. And Pepi now has 5 goals in 338 minutes played this season in the Eredivisie. He's averaging a goal every 70 minutes played. Listen, I still believe Luuk de Jong is a better player right now. I mean, Pepi's much younger and still improving. He might be better than Luuk de Jong eventually. But Pepi has proven that he can perform and contribute at this level. So it would be very smart of PSV to rotate a bit more. Keep de Jong rested and give Ricardo Pepi more minutes so he can continue to develop. That's just my opinion, even though it should be common sense at this point. As for Malik Tillman, he scored off a diving header. Good positioning, good header. And you know what? Please start doing that for the US men's national team as well. Like seriously, please. I cannot survive another camp where Brenden Aaronson is the US men's national team 10. And for that, we need Malik Tillman to perform. Because, you know, Gio Reyna is still injured. As for Richie Ledesma, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for PSV on this one, which is weird because he also got minutes during the midweek in the Champions League. Who knows? Richie Ledesma is a weird one. He's in and out of the lineup. I don't know what's going on there. But now let's talk about 2 Americans that play for Utrecht in the Eredivisie, and they are Taylor Booth and Paxton Aronson. And on Sunday, Paxton started and played the full 90 minutes for Utrecht during their 2-0 loss to Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. As for Taylor Booth, he got his first start of the season for Utrecht and played 74 minutes for them during this loss. I wasn't able to watch this game, but I heard Taylor Booth was quite anonymous. Okay, time to head back to England and talk about the Americans that play in the 2nd division of England in the EFL Championship. The first one being Josh Sargent from Norwich and Aidan Morris from Middlesbrough because they clashed over the weekend. And on Sunday, Sargent started and pretty much played the full 90 minutes for Norwich as he was subbed out around minute 90 during their 3-3 draw with Middlesbrough. No goals or assists for Josh Sargent here. He was kind of just there. He only had 17 touches all game long. As for Aidan Morris, he started and was subbed out around minute 90, just like Josh Sargent for Middlesbrough this game. Next up is Brenden Aaronson from Leeds. And on Saturday, Brenden Aaronson started and played the full 90 minutes for Leeds during their 0-0 draw with Bristol City. This game was way too early on Saturday, but I woke up for it. However, I chose to watch Haji Wright instead of Brenden Aaronson's soccer on crack style of play. So let's talk about Haji. And on Saturday, Haji started and played the full 90 minutes for Coventry during their 3-2 win over Luton Town. Haji scored a late goal to give Coventry the win. Mr. Clutch is back. He scored a scrappy goal during added time. The ball was just bouncing around in the box and he managed to tap it in. But hey, a goal is a goal. Haji at the 92nd minute scored to give Coventry the 3 points. I don't care if it was a tap-in, man. You got your team to win. You got your team to win. Next in England would have been Ethan Horvath from Cardiff City, but he's benched. He's not playing, so I got no updates there. I will say one thing. In the past 5 games without Ethan Horvath, they only conceded 1 goal, which means he probably will not get an opportunity anytime soon unless the starting goalkeeper gets injured. And as I said, I believe last week, I will not be covering Luca Coleosho until there is evidence that he wants to play for the United States. It's just pointless, right? It seems like he wants to play for Italy. But I will say one thing. I was told that Mauricio Pochettino has met with Luca Coleosho. How did that go? I don't know. Still in the island, we have two Americans that play in Scotland, and their names are Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty, and they play for Celtic. And on Sunday, Trusty started and played the full 90 minutes for Celtic during their 3-0 win over Motherwell. As for Carter-Vickers, his toe healed, and he was back. He came off the bench around minute 68. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching. I was going to cover the Americans in Liga MX this weekend, but I just didn't feel like doing it. Maybe we'll do it next weekend, we'll see. But I want to thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. Help us hit 1,000 likes in this video. And that's all. Thank you Sorare also for sponsoring the channel. If you want to play Sorare, the link will be in the description, and you'll get $50 in credits to buy your first cards. And that's all. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.